What is going on, everybody? I am your host, Timothy Lamar Cato III, or just simply known as Cato. And this is I Got More to Say, a place for voices to be heard, people to be reached, and knowledge to be shared regarding the world of music and black culture. And today we're going to be doing some things differently today. Today, we are going to be starting the solo process, or the solo episodes, just featuring me and my opinions. I mean, hence the name, this is I Got More to Say, and you guys are about to find out. So anyways, you guys, I'd like to first start off by just thanking everybody just for all the support and all the love that you've given to I Got More to Say. 2023 was a beautiful year, really a beautiful 4 months, because, as we know, we launched in August 2nd of 2023. And I'm really, really appreciative for all the love, the support, the shares, the engagement, rather good or bad. I appreciate it all. And 2024, a lot in store. Oh, I made that rhyme. Anyways, there's a lot to talk about. But today I wanted to talk about some of the things I was thinking about. So hold on, let me take a step back. I was sitting back and I was just thinking about all the things that happened in hip hop this year. And, from hip hop turning 50 to, everybody saying hip hop is in a decline to, the lack of, there not being a #1 hip hop album in the first 6 months, the first time in like 30 years. A lot of things that was going on regarding, hip hop. And I was thinking, you know what? There's some things that I think as a culture, not even just as a hip hop culture, that we need to leave in 2023. So I sat down, I made a short, comprehensive list of different things. So the first thing hip hop needs to leave in 2023, being too cool to care. Now, what do I mean by that? I look at it like this. The music industry has pretty much been established since I think sometime in like the 40s or the 50s, as far as like big business. And especially in hip hop, we've seen so many rappers, so many artists get played and get juked out of their money. And I don't even think sometimes it's even getting played or getting conned. Oftentimes as it is people just not understanding the business. Y'all, it is 2023. As a matter of fact, by the time this come out, it's gonna be 2024. There is no reason why artists should be signing bad deals. No reason why artists should not be getting any publishing. No reason whatsoever. Now, I understand, because there's so much information and there's so many different platforms and so many different free ways that you can receive information just about how to maneuver through this industry. So that's what I mean by too cool to care. Stop being, like, for example, I seen a video, and no disrespect to this young lady at all, but because I'm really rooting for her. She had one of my favorite songs of 2023. I remember, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Scarlett said that she just got a deal for $3 or $4 million. Well, if Scarlett did get a deal for $3 or $4 million, God bless her. But at the same time, too, I remember watching another interview of hers, and she was like, yeah, I just got this deal. I'm super excited. And the interviewer had to explain to her about how the money, if it was $4 million or $3 million, whatever number she threw out there, about how about how the record industry works. And she was like kind of clueless. Like, she was like kind of surprised. So, that's a key example. We are in an era right now where information is free. We are in an era right now where information is widely available. There is no reason why artists should be signing bad deals at all. I mean, sure, you can have, some shiesty people within your circle. Sure, you can, the way these lawyers and sometimes the way this music industry thing works can definitely be underhanded and conniving. But at the same time, too, we got to be more responsible and take care of our business, especially if all these artists is going to be running to these big labels. So, yes, stop being too cool to care. Start having a standard for hip hop, first and foremost. Let's start having a standard for as far as what we listen to, what we consume, who we make popular. Like, we got to stop being too cool to care. I think right now hip hop is in a state where everybody just wants to do the cool or the it thing. And I think that we, to a certain extent, is in some ways, especially the newer era, we are losing a lot of sensibilities and morals as far as within this hip hop thing. Now, I love hip hop, and I ain't here to judge nobody. But as I said before, it's a free country. This is only my opinion, and this is just the way that I personally feel about it. I think that we need to stop being too cool to care. I seen this video, and where this comes from. Tyler, the Creator, 2 years ago, he got on an interview, and he said he was talking about Jadakiss and the Lox. And he was talking about how, there's no well, he didn't say there's no reason, but he was talking about how the Lox ended up beating Dipset, at their versus battle. And he was like, the reason why is because Jadakiss and the Lox cared. They cared about the way they sounded. They cared about their performance. They cared about Yeah, they cared about the way they sounded. They cared about their performance. They cared about, the order that they had their songs. They cared about what they gave to the crowd. They cared about the crowd coming in and, being a part of the event. They cared. And I'm going to tell y'all something. If y'all want to have longevity in anything, but especially this music thing, care about it. Plain and simple. There's a reason why Nas is 50 years old and has released, I think, 6 or 7 albums since 2018, 2019. He cares. There's a reason why Gucci Mane at one point had a label full of all-stars who unfortunately are kind of all locked up or going through their own separate things, even though he got a bunch of new artists signed. There's a reason why he's able to do that and put all these artists on and sign all these artists to all these different deals, because he cares. Plain and simple. The people that you see in this business who have had longevity, Slim Thug going in and buying all that property he did down in his hometown, his home state of Texas, and rebuilding it and selling it or renting it out or however he's doing it. He cares. So hip hop, we got to start caring about our futures, start caring about our money. We got to start caring about, how we treat each other, how we say to each other, how we move in this industry. Plain and simple. Next up, as far as things that need to be left in 2023, all this demon imagery in hip hop. I don't know what's wrong with some of y'all. And black people, historically, I don't think Satan is really anything we really played around with too much. But it's just gotten to the point now where all this demon shit that's going on is just absolutely ridiculous. Like, I say this, and I know people might look at me, people who know me might look at me as a hypocrite. Okay, though, you like 3 6 Mafia, you like Koopsta, you like Lord Infamous, and all of them have, devil themes in their music. Okay, that's fair. I do want to remind people that Satan in the Bible was historically, the angel of music, the archangel of music, rather, I think is how he was described. So, it makes sense as to why, some of this shit is in the business. And, I do enjoy the music, but I felt like when 3 6 Mafia did it, it was at least somewhat tasteful. Like, all of this Satan and music videos and just everything. Like, y'all, if y'all devil worshipers and y'all believe in the devil, hey, this is America. You have, every single right. The First Amendment? You have the right to freedom of religion. Do what you do. But if you not on that type of timing and you just doing all these snakes and all this bullshit, bro, like y'all could be more creative as far as to y'all marketing practices. Especially you artists signed to labels. Well, actually, let me not even mention that because that might be a part of the problem. No disrespect, I'm not anti-label, but the labels are in the business of making money and whatever gets attention, they probably are gonna do. So that's another thing as well. This demon imagery, stop it. And if you is on that type of time, just come out and say it because this shit has gotten out of hand. Another thing that we need to leave, that hip hop needs to leave in 23, and I think this is morely just, like I said, this is hip hop culture, and I'm morely gonna speak to my people, black people. Wearing shiesties in the mall above the age of 24, 25, yeah, we need to leave that in 2023. Yeah, I cannot tell y'all how many times I go to the mall and I see grown 40-year-old, 50-year-old men walking around. And, excuse me, for those of you who don't know what a shiesty is, it's like the little Nike ski mask. Walking around in ski mask indoors. Y'all too old for that. Respectfully. Like, this is absolutely freaking ridiculous. Like, for real, it's actually crazy. I was having a conversation with, this was a while ago, with Michael Jones. I believe he played in the NFL. I think he played for the Dallas Cowboys. He went to Syracuse. Shout out to Michael. And I remember Michael was talking about how at Syracuse, the dudes would be in the parties wearing shiesties, and the girls would dead ass be terrified because I guess dudes was into it with one another, whatever. Like, he was like, yo, y'all are scaring the girls. Like, y'all, this shiesty mask wearing shit, please leave that shit in 2023. If it's cold outside, you want to put on your shiesty, by all means, you have every right to do so. But indoors wearing shiesties? Like, come on, y'all. Grow the fuck up. Respectfully. Next thing that we need to leave in 2023 as far as hip hop. We need to stop accepting these BS excuses from these artists. And I'm going to give 2 examples. The first example is, I believe it was Lauryn Hill, if I'm not mistaken. And Lauryn Hill was, the legendary Lauryn Hill. Love her album. And, as a matter of fact, I love her work because I like what she did with the Fugees. Lauryn Hill got on stage, and excuse me, hold on, let me give y'all some backstory. Lauryn Hill is known for being habitually very late to her concerts. For whatever reason, I don't know. But she decided to go get on stage at one of her concerts in 2023. And she said, oh, I've heard some of y'all criticize me and say, oh, she's late and this, that, and the third. Well, it is God who allows me to be up here on this stage and to come out here and perform and this, that, and the third. And I was like, what? The fuck are you talking about? Like, don't bring God into this, respectfully. Like, I mean, sure, God may give you the ability to wake you up every day, breathe air in your lungs, but you making it on time to go see people who have paid hundreds of dollars to come and see you and perform, and you just try to use excuses and don't even apologize, but try to tell them, the people who paid this money to come watch you provide a service, try to tell them that they should be thankful, I think is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, Lauryn Hill came up in an era where, number one, Lauryn Hill went diamond. I want y'all to remember that. And she went diamond in the physical era, the CD era. So that means that, I don't know if it's necessarily this amount of people, but we'll just say at least, because I think she most recently went diamond, at least 6, 7, 8 million people within the span of a few years went and stood outside, waited in the cold rain, sleet, hail, snow, scorching hot weather, and waited in line to go buy your album. The least you can do, and like I said, and to help make you and propel you into being a superstar. And your album was great, and I salute you, but you should have far more respect for your fans than that. And the thing that killed me about the video was that the fans was actually clapping and cheering when she said that. Like, are y'all crazy? So anyways, we need to stop accepting these BS excuses. The next BS excuse that we need to stop accepting in hip hop, and I love Andre 3000. Andre 3000 is one of my favorite rappers. I absolutely adore this man's music. I think that he is one of the most creative and one of the most genius painterly artists that we've ever seen in hip hop history. But this is the thing. We've been waiting for a solo album for you. You came out with the solo EP of you playing some kind of wind instrument, and then you come out with the new album that you just made, the flute album, as everybody calls it, because I don't know the name of it. And, you do all these interviews, you go on this press run, and shout out to the Flute album, because I actually enjoyed the Flute album. I mean, shit, I cleaned my whole house to that damn album. That album is soothing. Say whatever you want. But then you get on interviews and you say, oh, I don't really have much to rap about. Who really wants to hear from a 40-year-old rapper? Plenty of people. I mean, I want to remind people something. Andre 3000 was pushing 40 years old when he featured on Drake's The Real Her featuring Lil Wayne, when he bodied them two. He was pushing 40 years old when he featured on T.I.'s song, Sorry. He was pushing 40 years old when he featured on Rick Ross's song, 16. So granted, okay, you said 40, but shit, you was 35, 36, 37 years old. You was pushing 40 when you did all these great features. If you don't want to make music anymore, just say you don't want to make music anymore. But I have a hard time believing somebody is talented, somebody is genius, somebody is creative, somebody is artistic, is Andre 3000, who... This is a man from Atlanta, a high school dropout, for those of you guys who don't know. And I'm not trying to say that to insult that man's intelligence, but a high school dropout to go and be a rapper was signed as a teenager when they came out with, Southern Playalistic Cadillac Music, the first album. Won an award, got on stage, said the South got something to say. And ever since he said that 25, 26, 27 years ago, the South ain't stopped saying it. Then every single thing after that was multi-platinum. Aquemini is multi-platinum. I don't know what HE Aliens is. I'm sure it's probably multi-platinum. But Aquemini is multi-platinum. Then, what is it? What's the name of that damn album? I can't think of that album. Stankonia. Stankonia, 5 times platinum. Then you go ahead and drop Speakerbox to Love Below. Diamond. Matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, the best-selling hip-hop album of all time. So I said all that to say this. This is a man who was a high school dropout from a city that really did not have much of an that did not have an established hip-hop superstar. Went through a run that we've almost never seen before, and is perhaps a part of probably the greatest hip-hop group of all time. Went from the streets of Atlanta to the pantheon of the music business. We talking diamond albums. We talking album of the years, Grammys. Helped put a city and helped put a region on the map nationally. Had a baby at, somewhere in his 20s with another superstar being Erykah Badu, who is extremely influential is far and extremely, like I said, it was extremely influential and extremely creative in her right, in her respective right, and has aged gracefully in this hip hop thing. I'm not hearing that you do not have anything to rap about. And honestly, as fans, we should hold 3 Stacks accountable. The man don't want to make music, he don't want to make music. But fans, stop accepting these excuses from these artists. Andre 3000 has more than enough to talk about. I'm not hearing that when you got guys like Master Ace still putting out music, who I'm sure is in his 50s. Jay-Z released 444. He definitely was in his 40s, and that's also, that album is platinum. Nas has released a slew of albums. What is it? Magic 1 through 3, King's Disease 1 through 3. Won a Grammy off of the first one, and that was Grammy nominated at the second one. Killer Mike with Michael is now Grammy nominated, and he's rapping about a bunch of different topics. Andre 3000 actually featured on that, and he's actually nominated for a Grammy for Scientists and Engineers, if I'm not mistaken. The Lox is still putting out music. Jadakiss is still releasing albums. He released Ignatius in 2020. I'm sure that there are several artists that I'm forgetting about, but Busta Rhymes with Blockbuster just released a new album. There are several 40 and 50 and 60 and older year old rappers that have something to rap about. Y'all, if this man don't want to make music, fine, but I'm not sitting up here and hearing that somebody, as I said, is artistic, is brilliant, and is intelligent as Andre 3000 has nothing to talk about. I'm not hearing it, respectfully. Next thing we need to leave, as a matter of fact, I'm probably gonna make this the last thing. Last thing we need to leave, and hip hop needs to leave in 2023. The last thing hip hop needs to leave in 2023 is this: hip hop is trending downward. Hip hop is in a decline. Bullshit. Now, according to the numbers, if you go and you look at the Nielsen SoundScan ratings, the last 3 years hip hop has dropped as far as market share rather. They've dropped, a point each year. Okay, that's fair. I think that there are other extraneous factors that play a part in that, but that's fair. But if we talk about the culture of hip hop, I mean, hip hop is alive and well. Let's talk about it. First and foremost, people who aligned themselves with hip hop were the biggest designers, or some of the biggest designers in the world. Let me remind you, Virgil Abloh, who was, like I say, he was a fashion designer, but he was obviously very connected to the hip hop industry. Rest in peace to Virgil, by the way. I mean, he was extremely influential. I mean, the founder of Pyrex and eventually became Off-White. And then he became the creative director for the number one designer fashion house in the world, being Louis Vuitton. Yeah, Virgil Abloh is hip hop. If I'm not mistaken, I think Virgil Abloh was a DJ. Following after his passing, as I said before, rest in peace to Virgil and his family, his loved ones, and his admirers. Following after Virgil is Pharrell Williams, who was he was a rapper and a hip hop producer. I mean, I don't just want to pigeonhole him into hip hop because Pharrell can make almost any genre of music. But yes, Pharrell is now the creative director of the number one fashion house. You see Gucci Mane a couple years ago being on the cover of Gucci Spring, the Gucci Spring label, or not a Spring label, their Spring collection. I'm not here, hip hop is everywhere. Hip hop is finally being accepted into designer fashion. We see Gunna and Offset walking the runway at Paris Fashion Week. I mean, I'm not here, hip hop has, when high fashion tried to deny hip hop for all them years and try to just, push us to the side. Now, as I said before, you see us all throughout designer fashion. As I said before, the creative director for the number one fashion house in America is a rapper. Next up, the Barbie movie, one of the biggest movies in the world ever. One of the biggest movies ever, but maybe the biggest movie of the year. The official song for that was by Ice Spice and Nicki Minaj with Barbie, the song title. The movie of the summer and one of the songs of the summer was made by rappers. A more, established rapper and a young up-and-coming rapper. So I'm not hearing this, hip hop is in a decline. Also, too, Bad Bunny, Burna Boy, two of the world's biggest artists who've released, I know Bad Bunny released a song this year, Burna Boy released an album. Burna Boy's newest album is filled with hip-hop features. And by the way, the reason why that's significant is because this year, I believe that, Africa has seen the biggest boom as far as in music industry revenue. They've seen the biggest growth as far as in the music industry in Africa. So that's why that's important. Burna Boy had features all throughout his album. And then even when we look at Bad Bunny, from my understanding, considers himself as a rapper. And Burna Boy may not necessarily be a rapper, but there's a lot of hip hop influence within his music. So maybe instead of looking at it like, oh, okay, hip hop is in a decline, no, hip hop's, what is it, like its tentacles have reached different platforms and have been in different places. That's where, like, even if you look at Morgan Wallen, I mean, Morgan Wallen sings with hip hop cadences and raps over hip hop, sings, raps, whatever, over hip hop sounding beats. This genre is everywhere. I mean, even the next thing, let's talk about just things outside of the culture, sneaker culture. You know, I work at a shoe store, and I cannot tell you the countless times that I've seen 30, 40, 50, even 60-year-old Caucasian female teachers coming in and buying Jordans. And even if you ask them, what's the special occasion? Why do they want Jordans? You know, just because, you know, naturally in your head, that's something you might think. They say, oh, well, my students won't leave me alone if I don't have a pair, and it's just a cool thing to have. Sneaker culture is hip hop culture. Don't believe me? Go do your research. Run DMC. They'll tell you everything you need to know. But yes, so I'm not understanding how people can sit up here and say that this industry is dying when there's so many different aspects of it that are being appreciated more than ever. I mean, hip hop is the motherfucking soundtrack to so many sporting events. Do y'all remember, the Jets video? Where these big, tough, macho-ass football players is motherfucking dancing and turning up the Sexy Red Ski Yee. I mean, these is dudes who play a gladiator sport. And they all at training camp turning up to Ski Yee. And you mean to tell me hip-hop is in a decline? I mean, hold on, time out. Did we forget 2 of the biggest boxing matches of the year? Gervonta Tank Davis walked out with Chief Keef when he went to go fight Ryan Garcia. Followed that up, Terrence Crawford went to go, walked out to Eminem. Eminem is kind of crazy, I'm not gonna lie. But he went and walked out to Eminem, shout out to Eminem though. He went and walked out to Eminem when he went to go fight Errol Spence. Like, LeBron's back in the Maybach, rapping videos that he does. Like, hip hop is everywhere within the sports industry. Next up, I already talked about that. And then the last thing. Hip-hop is being appreciated in a way that has never been appreciated before. Even when you look at the Tiny Desk concert, like the legends are finally getting their due. I mean, sure, the whole Grammy debacle, you know, like KRS-One won't be there, a couple other people denied it, but there's gonna be a celebration of hip-hop on one of the grandest stages of music. You look at the Tiny Desk concerts, Juvenile and Scarface had 2 of the most well-received this year. Maybe it's just because I don't necessarily pay attention to too many things outside of hip-hop. I haven't heard anything about any other genre's Tiny Desk concerts this year. Juvie had that motherfucker turn up, and motherfucker Scarface had that motherfucker turn up. How about Busta Rhymes going and being appreciated and being on all these platforms and getting all these young people all these younger artists to come and feature on his project? Anyways, I could go on for days, but I'm not hearing that a culture that has in 50 years has amassed this much influence is impacting everything from designer fashion to the music business in total, to to streetwear, to everything. I'm not hearing that I'm sick of hearing this rhetoric and this buffoonery and just these downright lies, these heinous lies to me of saying that hip hop is in a decline. I feel like hip hop is evolving, hip hop is adapting. I think hip hop is evolving, hip hop is adapting, and I think that it has influence, and it has gained this influence that it never has reached before, and it has to find a way of where does it go now that it's won. So instead of saying hip hop is in a decline, I think that's how we need to view it. But anyways, you guys, that's all my time here for today. As always, I'm Timothy Lamar. Let me try that again. That's all the time we have for today. Make sure that y'all go ahead and give me a follow on all my socials on I Got More to Say. Make sure that you go ahead and give me a subscription on YouTube. And also, please don't forget to show us love on TikTok and all of oh God, hold on, I gotta restart that. Anyways, you guys, that's all I have for today. Please make sure that you follow all of our socials. Please make sure that you hit the subscribe button, hit the follow button, hit the like button, hit all the buttons. Make sure that you stay tuned and let me know in the comments what y'all think about some of my opinions and some of my thoughts. Do you agree? Do you disagree? I'd love to have a conversation. As always, I'm Cato III, and I got more to say.